It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, we are Red Eye Radio. Well, I guess it's Friday, so we can say Happy Independence Day week.
Yeah, happy Independence Day weekend.
It's our last chance to do so. Or a long 4-day weekend.
If some people are having a long 4-day weekend, not everybody gets Monday off.
Apparently they are. I was surprised to find out that the busiest traveling day was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for the people who want to take a vacation, you can take Friday off.
Yeah.
And you can then, of course, take 4 days next week.
Right.
So you get an entire week off and the holiday. But unfortunately, not everybody gets the 4-day weekend. Buddy of mine's like, yeah, we're working Monday, off Tuesday, back to work on Wednesday. I'm like, man, you got to get a better job.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Now, as a kid, 4th of July, it didn't matter because you were off all summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate that when that happens and you have a day off, especially working this shift.
Yeah. And then next year, it's kind of the same thing because it falls on a Thursday.
We're in leap year?
Yeah. So then you hope to get the 4-day weekend. But, yeah.
Now, just to show you, I was just I was checking yesterday just to see how the airlines are working.
Mm-hmm.
So I was checking with American Airlines, and it's, my trip to Buffalo, which I'm taking later on today.
Yeah.
And I was looking at flights, yesterday. If I wanted to book the flight yesterday, it was between a flight round trip, $2,600 to $4,600.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't ever remember. I've seen flights $800, $900, $1,000, $1,200. I don't think I've ever seen a $4,000 flight.
Yeah.
Round trip.
No thanks.
And I was just thinking, if you've got, remember they used to give the bereavement, discount. They don't give that anymore.
Right.
You want to go back, you got to pay $4,500 round trip.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
And so I did see the forecast when I get there, and the forecast when I get there is possible rain with smoke and haze. Now, when I'm back a couple of weeks ago, I didn't have to deal with there was some of it when I got back. It was all gone. But some pictures yesterday from those wildfires.
Oof.
Whoa. I mean, it looks like in some areas, a friend of mine lives south of Buffalo, probably about 80 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're talking about near the end of the Boston Hills to the beginning of the Allegheny Mountains, as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really more Allegheny Hills
compared
to mountains if you live on the West Coast and near the Rockies.
Yeah.
But in some of the valley areas, it looked like fog.
Well,
it was.
This would be a legitimate reason to wear a mask.
Particulate matter, yes, because it's particulate matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, they're supposed to get, of course, it's me on, summer, some nice 80-degree, beautiful sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to rain all weekend.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I mean,
they say we're supposed to get some rain when we're on the coast, but that's, the beach rain never bothers me. I don't care. I honestly don't care.
I honestly don't. It doesn't actually faze me either.
It doesn't. I can find something to do inside if I have to go inside, but typically I don't, because the showers typically on the coast where we're at, they don't last very long, and the chance for the rain or the coverage, I guess, of those showers is not the majority of the area.
And no hurricane heading your way.
No named storms.
But they say 50 million people. Now, the vast majority will be traveling by only 2.5 million will be traveling by airplane.
Yeah.
So
we'll be driving.
Yeah, the vast majority, 40+ million, will be driving at least 50 miles. I think that's what they count. You're driving 50 miles to go somewhere. Now, where I live, on the lake that I live, I mean, that's why I'm always gone. Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Mm-hmm. It's a madhouse. It's like it is absolutely mobbed. My lake beach, the park where the beach is, probably by 10 or 10:30 in the morning, they close the park.
Yeah.
In fact, they closed it. Was it last weekend? There was last weekend or the weekend before. A non-holiday on Saturday and Sunday, they had to close the park because so many people are using it. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the year, it's like, no problem. Nobody's around, and so it's almost like, these dang, it feels like I live in a tourist town. These dang tourists.
Yeah, we have the same thing. People come to our town for the celebration. There's always live music and everything else. And it's right at the end of the main road, which is the street next to mine. And I'm like, and you see it everywhere. In fact, they've already got it kind of rerouted, and they've got signs. Okay, here's the event. This is where the event is, pointing to the event. Here's where the event parking is. I'm like, okay, I just want to get out of town. I'm just trying to leave. Let me get out of your way quickly.
That's my thing. I'm going to get out of everybody's way. You could come and
because when we are in town for it and we go to it, we walk because it's right there. So we just walk, whether it's a Christmas event or Independence Day or whatever they're doing. If we go, then we always walk down there, and because by the time you get down to parking, the parking actually, it's gotten so big, the parking is actually further away than my house is from the event, and then they get a shuttle and take you to the event. I'm like, they could just get the shuttle to come by the house.
Yeah, they used to have the fireworks right on my lake, but it got too crowded, so they do it elsewhere now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a madhouse, but everybody's having fun, and that's what.
Yeah, we hope that everyone has a very happy and safe Independence Day.
On Independence Day, as we celebrate our Constitution.
Not all of us. Some Americans will be celebrating the Constitution. Others will be.
That was a shot
plotting.
At Biden, if anybody. Yeah. What do you mean? There's an idiot on the air said we're celebrating the Constitution.
Yeah.
No, Biden, when what was he talking? Was it the abortion issue?
Affirmative
action.
Affirmative action.
Yeah.
Affirmative action. We celebrate the Constitution. It's serious.
It was, and he was talking, all men are created equal in the Constitution. It's like, no, it's Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
So
as we celebrate the
as we celebrate the next Tuesday, the Gettysburg Address.
Yes. As we celebrate the War of 1812.
Somebody's got to go out there with the microphone and start asking the questions again. I miss that. Was it Pete Ducey that used to go to the beach? Or was it Jesse Waters?
I think it was Jesse Waters.
Yeah. You go to the beach?
Yeah.
So why are we what are we celebrating here on Independence Day? Well, independence. From whom?
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Canada?
Mexico? France? No, they were on our side. No, they were on our side.
I would start it with the false premise because sometimes they'll do that. As you know, we used to be Southern Canada. As we celebrate Independence Day, yeah, and no apologies to our British friends, by the way. None.
They don't seem to celebrate it as much as we do.
Well, Harry and Meghan.
Meghan, I was just say,
They do. They get it now. It took them hundreds of years to get it, but they finally got it.
Hey, this is our last hour before we go on vacation, so we can talk anything. But when I did have to chuckle when it said, entertainment experts say that Meghan Markle is not that great of an entertainer, which is why the podcast failed.
No, I think that their behavior is entertaining.
Yes, exactly.
So,
but
in that respect, yeah. Yeah, I don't...
Oh, and by the way, since you did mention that, we're part of southern Canada.
Yeah.
Or they're just, they're basically northern Wisconsin. Happy Canada Day tomorrow to all Canadians.
Yeah. We don't care, but whatever. No, I don't care.
You don't care what, that they're northern Wisconsin? Or
about Canada Day. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And they don't care about Independence Day.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
On the border, they do.
No, the ones that live here do.
Yeah, no, when you grow up on the border,
the Canadians that have come here do.
When you grow up on the border, I mean, one of the best festivals I've ever been to is a Friendship Festival that I don't know if they still hold it, but they held it in Fort Erie, and we would walk across the Peace Bridge. You walk across the Peace Bridge around, right south of downtown Buffalo. You walk across the Peace Bridge, and right there to the park, and they have a huge festival going on.
Oh, festivals we like.
The festivals were great, and they're Americans, Canada, American flags, Canada flags, and everything else.
Any cause
live
for a festival.
When you live on the border of the United States and Canada, especially like probably the same kind of relationship, Detroit, Windsor, and all that. There is that feeling you don't really view Canada as a different country. You just don't. I mean, we crossed the border. We were crossing the border on our bicycles without any identification when we were, in high school constantly. Nobody ever, whatever, where are you going? Crystal Beach, which was...
Is that back when you were a child spy?
Yeah, I was spying for the... Well, because my family came from Canada, and I said, hey, a lot, so they allowed me.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, went to a great concert, and I was actually very impressed, and it was the headliner, and they were actually great, was the Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah.
Remember they had the one song?
Which happened when the song had not been finished. And they just kept it. True story. The song wasn't finished.
Was it really?
Yeah. And they were like, no, that's...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they were kind of, here's the melody, and it's like, well, wait a minute, that works.
Yeah. Well, they were actually huge in the border. I mean, because they had Superman song that was extremely popular in border cities. But they were just a great band live. It's amazing. I think about the bands that I really never have never bought their stuff, never had it, but you saw them live and you were just blown away by them. I was thinking about that. We had that discussion the other day, bands that you have seen live that blew you away, but you really don't listen to them that much. And I will say one of them is the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Yeah.
And I just don't listen to that music. But when I saw them in that small club, when they were first breaking out in the mid to late 90s, blew me away. One of the best musical experiences I've ever seen. My buddy Jeff and I, we walked out. We were numb. We walked across the street to the bar to have a beer just to figure out what we just saw. That's how impressive it was. And what got me was the brass, because it was a small club. It wasn't a big, probably fits 300. So it's not. And then I saw them later on in a big auditorium and then an outdoor. Was not the same impact.
Right.
But you see them up close. The brass section was as heavy as seeing Metallica.
Yeah.
It was that heavy. I mean, and it was just the choreography and everything else that close was just great. But I really, I listened to them a little bit back then, but it's not something that I regularly listen to. But I would say one of the best bands I've ever seen live. And every Christmas, I've got to watch the Brian Setzer Orchestra, and I sit and go, I got to watch him play guitar more because he's just so incredibly great.
Yeah.
Brian Setzer. So
right. Yeah.
So it's going to be a good week. So you need to care about Canada Day, because my dad's side.
No.
My dad's side is from Canada.
No, I mean, good luck with it.
In fact,
I don't wish anybody ill will.
No, you need to care, because I'm attempting to see if I can get reparations from Canada.
Yeah, that's not going to happen either. They have even less money
because of the
They're spending it all on health care.
Yeah, I figured Trudeau would say, okay, the Irish Catholics were so discriminated upon in the earliest part of the 20th century that the descendants need reparations.
Yep. Nope.
That's why my grandfather came here to the United States. So.
Yep.
The McNamara side's from Canada.
Nope. You'll get nothing.
The Halliburton Highlands, north of Toronto.
Yep.
866-90 Red Eye.
Plenty of cherries to eat for the upcoming July 4th holiday, based on USDA's production forecast for sweet cherries this season.
We're looking at a crop that we expect to be about 371 million tons. That's what I would call a very average or normal-sized crop, but it is a huge increase from what we saw last year.
Lance Honig of the National Agricultural Statistics Service says the 60% year-over-year sweet cherry production increase came from a rebound in Washington State's crop from the previous year.
There were some freezing conditions at the wrong time last season that really caused us to see a pretty small crop last year. So if you just look at it on a year-by-year basis, you're looking at a huge increase from last year.
Oregon and California also reported significant year-over-year increases in sweet cherry production to add to the total 2023 amounts. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report is made possible by Cenex Roadmaster XL Premium Diesel and Citgo Lubricants.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I can't forget to do what I do always around Independence Day. I'll probably do it on the plane.
Eat a hot dog?
No. Remember the HBO miniseries, John Adams?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the park, and in fact, you can find it because there's a number of clips that exist.
When they're all about to sign the Constitution.
They're all about to sign the Constitution. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To me, one of the great moments.
Yeah. Or the Declaration of Independence. Yeah.
What did I say?
I was joking. I was doing the Biden joke.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
I just went right over my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is he laughing? What's funny about that moment?
Yeah.
The Constitution.
Yeah.
The Declaration of Independence.
Right. Yeah.
Can we just make them the same so we don't mix it up anymore?
The Constitution of Independence.
Exactly. But when they were about to sign this Declaration of Independence, I missed that completely. It went right over my head. And because we've been doing it all show.
When they were all about to sign that car loan?
No, when they were all ready
84 payments.
No, when they were all getting ready to sign for their college loan. And we knew one day at the moment it would become a national issue.
John Adams
or a constitutional issue.
John Adams' college loan still isn't paid for.
But that moment when they approve of the Declaration of Independence is a great moment in cinema. I know it's a miniseries from TV, but it's still a great moment.
Yeah.
It is just a great moment when you look at their faces because, maybe even later on there was celebration and the fireworks and everything else. At that moment when they signed it, that is pretty emotional because what they've done is they've signed their death warrant. Yes. That's what they believe they've done at that moment.
Right.
And to me, it's something every American should watch.
The Bonus Show.
It's Friday Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, we are here at the last day of June, which means July is tomorrow.
It is.
Which means most NFL football camps are 3 weeks from now. So it's about that time, and right on schedule. We got it. Every year we've gotten it for the last 5 years. Colin Kaepernick says he is ready to play football.
Okay.
The news was published by Sports Illustrated, who sat with the former NFL player and professional social justice warrior.
Yeah.
And delivered a purely flattering June 29th article. This is written by Breitbart, by the way. The 35-year-old Kaepernick claims he still works out 5 or 6 days a week. Well, so do I.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything. And claims his quarterbacking skills are as sharp as ever.
Oh, Iggy Mandelbaum worked out 6 days a week. Izzy. I said Iggy. I'm thinking of Dan Chanko. Sorry, wrong.
For those who don't know, Izzy Mandelbaum was a recurring character. He was on more than once. I know that.
Yeah, he sure was.
On Seinfeld, the late Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
Who was absolutely fantastic in that role. But he still works out 5 or 6 days a week and claims his quarterbacking skills are as sharp as ever, but he's noted he's not been offered a workout from an NFL team since the Raiders gave him a look in 2022, but passed on signing him.
Yeah.
Kaepernick says he is still ready for a workout from any team that will offer, saying, I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep fighting for it because I know I can step on the field and play. But then he claims someone told him he is still elite.
Yeah.
And nobody bought it.
Yeah. Has it ever happened that a backup quarterback, 35 years old, gets signed as a starting quarterback? Because he's not going to accept any position as a backup.
No, I don't remember the last time that happened.
I don't think that's ever happened. I'm going to venture to say it's never happened.
Yeah. I guess it depends how far you go back in history.
Yeah, right.
You know, somebody might say, well, the 1934 Bears, we're talking modern professional football.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking after they started paying them. We just did it for the fun.
Did you ever see
we just did it for the injuries.
Even in the 70s, the stars were making money. The rest weren't making any, even in the 70s.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's crazy, isn't it?
You see what they were making. It was just. And I remember when the AFL came around, most of those players in the American Football League, you know, before the merger and even after the merger, had second jobs.
Yeah.
And
that's insane.
And now you look, you know, think about the money that is in pro football today. Now this is being said as someone that all I ever wanted to be as a kid was a football player. But when you're 5 feet, 1.5 inches, and 98 pounds as a junior, becoming a senior, by the time I got to be a senior by the middle of the year, I was up to 102 pounds. I want you to know that.
Oh, that's good.
Life was not fair to me.
Okay.
I was not able to choose my chosen path. Thank God.
Yeah.
You see how many operations, like even golfers, they have in their 40, professional, when you really take your body and you work it like that. I'm so happy that I don't have one of the greatest things of being an adult is you don't have the mind of a child because the dreams I had could have ended up being a nightmare.
Yeah.
Imagine if somebody actually put me out in the football field. I might not have made it through high school football alive. I was so scrawny.
Well, that's quite possible.
So
now I would have been fast for one play. One play. If I had the ball and the entire defensive line were running at me,
you would have done
fastest runner you would have ever seen. It would have been the whole, well.
And you would have run the opposite way and scored a safety for that.
I wouldn't care which way I'm going.
Yeah.
As long as they can't catch me. It wouldn't, no.
Yeah.
No.
When you see the money that they used to, it was
oh my gosh,
unbelievable when you see the money and then what they were asking for, for a raise and stuff like that. We'd ask for a $500 raise. They go, well, maybe $100. It's what in the world?
Yeah.
And now how much money it is worth. And I still, though, the mind of old Gary would still not play for the money they're offering. The minimum money that they're offering.
Right.
Because you're talking about. I think the minimum's like $600,000. Because odds are, if you're at that level, you're only going to play 3 or 4 years, and the risk of injury as to what you can get over a lifetime. Because immediately when you think about that, you'd say, because my mind would be working this way. Part of it still would have that age. I would have said, okay, I make all right $600,000. And if I can make it, it goes up each and every year I'm in. So maybe I can make, if I last 4 years, between $2.5 and $3 million. Agent gets some, taxes, everything else. Maybe I can have $1 million that I save, so I have a retirement right now.
Yeah,
that part of me would be thinking that.
Yeah.
Old Gary would be thinking that. I don't know if young Gary would have been thinking that's basically what you're going to let compound in investments go for the next 40 years and see what you have when it's time to retire.
Well, and a guy I graduated high school with, Marvin Allen, played for the Patriots for 4 years as running back, but it was only, if you think about 4 years, that seems like a short period of time. But I'm sure even at that level, there was a lot that came with the injuries, a lot of pain and stuff that came with the injuries. I haven't ever asked him about that directly. He's now, I think he's still assistant GM in Miami, but from then on he went to work as a recruiter and everything else in the offices at different NFL teams, including the Bills at one point. Yeah. And I would have to think that it at any level, if you make it to and you play for any amount of time in the NFL, you're going to be feeling those injuries to some extent. I mean, we all feel age as we age, but those especially because of even just the training, right? Even just training camp, I'm sure comes with its fair share. You and I have witnessed ex-NFL players in the hallways of the former buildings that we were in.
Yep.
We've seen them walking, and it looks painful.
And the number of operations and anything, you think about anything professionally. My sister was an elite gymnast. And so she was done by the time she was 21. She still has, she still feels it today. Mm-hmm. My other sister was in ballet.
Right.
And still feels it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
As high, some of the highest levels you can get to, they were both in. But they were both done by their early 20s, and they still feel the pain of that today. There are just some things the human body was not meant to do. And when you think about being on you think about any type of sport, any type of contact sport, hockey, football, human body wasn't made for that.
Nope.
Wasn't made for that. And so there's going to be consequences. To quote Thomas Sowell again, there are no solutions to a great life, only trade-offs.
Yep.
Everything is a trade-off.
Yeah.
But here we are, Independence Day, and can't tell you how thrilled I am to live in this country. I can't tell you how thrilled I am for the opportunities. I can't tell you how I mean, it's almost indescribable when I think about the fact of what I do for a living. And with all the problems and challenges that we still face today and the insanity that we face from the radical left, and their serious challenges.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here talking to a microphone. It's like, I can be fearless.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be fearless, and you can be fearless, and we can be fearless because other people, they fought for that freedom. They fought for the Constitution of the United States that came from the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so you think about the beginning of it and what the Declaration of Independence says. And that was the beginning of what created what I'm able to do today, which is still, you think about it, because we mentioned Canada before. Well, maybe we won't celebrate Canada Day if they're going to continue their assault on free speech.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, seriously.
No, I mean,
they don't have the same free speech.
I love the Canadian people, Canadian leadership that drives it to the point of putting people in jail for how they speak.
But their insane liberals are only a few years ahead of ours.
Yep. No, I was going to say, I don't know how much longer. Right. You and I aren't alarmists. We are doomed, but we're not alarmists. But I do believe if we allow it to continue, there is no doubt they're already trying to do this in Michigan, in California. Right. They're trying to do this. This is their attempt, and they're not going to stop.
Once you realize that the authoritarian and fascist mindset does not leave human beings.
Yeah.
The wanting to have power and control does not leave human beings ever. You understand that the fight is for the rest of your life. And that's a tough thing for a lot of people. They just wish to, go to work, come back home, and enjoy life. But the reality is, I believe you have to be in the fight each and every day, because when you look at history, there had to be people in that fight each and every day. The people that were in that fight to write the Declaration of Independence, which is why I say you got to watch the HBO thing, because they knew that they were chancing at that point. They were risking everything, every single thing, their lives, their property, their homes, everything they were sacrificing. And so here I am 240-something years afterwards talking about the appreciation of what they did. And so you owe them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Americans, we owe those who came before us who fought for what we have.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
in many
absolutely.
ways.
Absolutely.
So it's a time to celebrate, but it's also a time to think, and it's a time to be grateful. It really is. It's a time, and I'm still grateful here. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. We're not part of the 60%, what was it, of Americans that say they want to move outside the United States, somewhere else.
Never. I'm not leaving.
And the primary reason was economics, and we're like, where do you go? That's a dumb statement. Where do you go? Well, it's cheaper to live down there.
Well, in fact, I just saw an article on CNBC. This retiree, look at her beachside apartment in Mazatlan for $450 a month, $425 a month, whatever it is. I'm like, no. I mean, I understand people have to do what they have to do. If that's what's required, you move to a cheaper place. I'm not leaving the U.S.
Neither am I. 866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley. I'm Gary McNamara. I'm just thinking, especially now with the news breaking so quick, we're going on vacation back Sunday night, Monday morning, July 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about everything could be completely different by that time.
Oh,
And I always go back to the July 5th when we were off. Was that 2016? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Comey thing broke where he was doing the whole Hillary Clinton thing where he wasn't going to indict her. And I'm on the golf course communicating with you going, what in the hell's going on?
Well,
here?
if we come back and we start with, we'll have an audio cut from President Kamala Harris. But it's a whole week that we'll be gone.
Yeah.
But have safe travels, Gary.
Thanks. You
and
too.
Enjoy Independence Day. To everyone, have a safe and happy Independence Day.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.